Hey, it's Jason ODB, the Lincoln Addict, coming at you with another, I guess, review, but this one's totally different. So it's, I guess, fitting that I think this is the review number 10. And I want to thank Josh Kidd, the KIDD, for reaching out. Tony Boss Bolin also had sent this to me the morning of May 18th. So if I post this on Thursday, it would have been, the day before I kind of had caught news of this. But there's a guy you can see on the screen right here, Jesus, and I won't, don't want to butcher his name. You'll see the post right here. He basically said, I hate to make this post, but on April 15th, I went to grab dinner, which again is about a month ago, with his wife about 4 miles from home, and decided to take the Lincoln. On the way home, I was rear-ended while coming to a stop at a red light. I was about 30 yards from the light. He sent me flying against a barrier and into another car, already stopped at the light. The idiot that hit me, of course, uninsured. He told the officer he had been working long hours. He fell asleep at the wheel and had no idea how fast he was going. Everything has been taken care of now, but it sucks for obvious reasons. But first off, thankfully he seems fine, right? There's people that have commented that same thing, and that's always my first thought. It sucks to see classic cars damaged, totaled, whatever you want to call it, but obviously the first and foremost is, you can't replace, the human life, right? But when we look at these photos, you could see, man, this thing was just really slammed into. This is one of the worst ones I've seen as far as photos from an accident. You could see here where, the quarter panel, you could see right through it. It looks like the road right there, right? Or is that just maybe a piece of vinyl or something? But this bumper is just totally, thrashed. You can see here in the quarter panels. To me, the whole rear of the car from here back is just, it's done. I'm not a collision expert, but you look at this deck lid. It's really, really, really rough there. These were the only few photos he had shared, and I'll share more here in just a minute based upon the link that Josh Kidd had sent over. It looks like this is the guardrail he was talking about, and you can see the car right there. Maybe some just kind of just photos documenting the scene, which is obviously, I think, important for any type of accident. But it raises the question, all the time, people, there's some people that love to drive their classic cars every day, every week, every weekend, and they say, drive your stuff and this and that. I'm very cautious when I want to take my cars out, and I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. By all means, I've been there before where I'm like, hey, we're going to, run over to so-and-so. It's 5 miles away. I'm going to jump in the classic, similar to what this guy did, and it ended, thankfully not in a tragedy from a life's perspective, but, for many of us, we love our cars, and, to have a car that is destroyed is can just rip your heart out. You know what I mean? And again, the most important thing is if nobody's hurt or you can walk away from a terrible accident like this, you go out and you say, hey man, you're thankful for that. So again, I'm never gonna deviate from that. That's the most important thing. Again, the car pretty bad off here. So basically, that was about a month ago, and he goes into Suicide Slabs on Facebook. And he makes that post, and that's what we saw and kind of read through here a few minutes ago. So that was Jesus, and he says for obvious reasons he has decided not to buy the car back. And I can't, I would say I agree with that. This car is pretty far shot. I've seen Jeff from Devious Customs, one of our key partners at Lincoln Addict Podcast. He's brought some back from a pretty tough situation. Could this one be brought back? Possibly. You could do a Roadster chassis. You could start, doing a lot of work. But, if you look at the damage to the doors and stuff, you're probably going to end up with more money and time invested than you would have just going out and buying maybe even a rough Lincoln. and just going, okay, I'm going to bring it back. I mean, hell, I went over that 61 convertible the other day through the reviews. It might have been review, I think, number 8. And thanks for sticking with me on that. There was an audio issue for some reason. When it exported, the audio did not attach, and it was silent. So a couple of folks had commented, and I was able to fix that. But I appreciate everyone giving me the heads up. But that car, can you take a car and start, merging 2 parts together? Absolutely. I mean, there's stuff on this car that, there's things I can see right here that definitely could be used on another car. Now, not necessarily a 61, but I'm just kind of giving you the example. So the main reason why I wanted to do the video was, one, say, hey, look, this is news in our Lincoln community. But if you look here at Copart.com, this is the auction for the car, and it's located in Texas, Fort Worth, of course, it says here. It's got the lot number. This is interesting because, this is not a type of thing that, comes up very often. These cars are classics, and generally speaking, I would say it's pretty rare for, a car like this, to be totaled out. So let's look at the photos and look at some of the information here. So last updated, it's been about a week. And what it looks like, I don't have any insight into the auction world and insurance and things like that, but you can imagine the insurance company, they do their assessment on it, and they go, wow, it's going to cost way more to fix it, right? Now, they have down here valued at estimated retail value $30,500 or so. So they made a business decision to go, okay, we're going to pay the person that's insured, they're going to pay them out. So that person took the money. Again, I don't disagree with that. And they are now going to, recoup whatever money they can on this, right? So let's try to go maybe HD. Maybe HD just wants us to download the photos. So we'll just zoom in. I think this will be fine. You can see here, tops down, same, it looks literally like they put it on the back of a rollback, and they brought it here. It's dumped out here. It's been sitting out here. Now, Texas, I don't know what the current drought situation is or whatnot, but, again, any car that's a convertible with the top down, if it's rained or any, that's going to do additional damage. And, again, I know the car's pretty bad off. The whole front end is pretty, torched in terms of just thrashed, really is a better word. It's possible the engine and trans are fine. That could be something that someone would want, and there's obviously a lot of parts under the hood, that could be reused and whatnot. But you can see this whole front end really, really, really sustained a lot of damage. Now, what I'm going to do here, this gives us a better view. This front 3/4 shot. And everything from, the peak molding here, the doors look fine on this side for the most part. You got the crinkle in the rear quarter panel, but again, the whole front end. I've seen people where, like, let's say the whole rear end smashed, but the front's good, not necessarily with the Lincoln, but, they'll cut the front off. They'll make a wall art. They'll make a barbecue grill, those type of things. But in this case, the rear is shot. You can't even make a couch out of it necessarily. And the front is just hammered. Now, again, I've seen Jeff at Devious Customs fix one that was pretty bad off, and I would imagine that someone could come in here and you could, put on another quarter panel. You could, do that, like the whole front end, find a parts car, do the whole front end. I do think this car could, theoretically be brought back with the right time and money. You could see just how crinkled it is here. The car looks pretty low. One thing I don't know is if it was airbagged, but as anybody that's been around the air suspension world is, airbagging a car like this doesn't add or take away from the structural piece of the car. Now, in some cars and trucks and things like that are laid out and they're heavily modified, there's a lot of cutting that's involved in the inner fender wells and things like that. But generally speaking, on these cars, especially on the 15-inch factory wheels, if this car was airbagged, it wouldn't have really added to the damage. Now, if someone's driving low and there's a higher vehicle, whether it's a semi or a lifted truck, it could come in here and smash in more, so and cause damage there. But to me, my opinion is that even if this car was kind of airbagged and it was riding low, it really didn't cause more damage to this car. That's just my take on it. You could see, dude, just really, really thrashed. I have not seen a car like this, and again, thankfully the dude's okay, because that's a pretty, looks like to me, a pretty hard smash there from another driver. Unfortunately, that was uninsured, and that's just been a long time issue, and I don't know what could fix something like that. In terms of these people driving without insurance, it's bullshit. Rear quarter panel here just really crinkled. Again, doors look okay here, meaning that there are parts, the interior dash, things like that. And we'll go here, kind of giving a little bit of insight. You can see it's got kick panels in it. It's got the maroon interior. That's the color I think of, in my mind. And you can see here, even the rear seat was jetted out some. In these head-on or these collisions, all kinds of stuff. It's just it's so quick that you just never know until you start assessing it, like how much is really damaged. But to me, it even looks like where this is all crushed here, like it. This clearly seems like, I don't know if it's just the air cleaner is kind of off some. If the engine is even going to be fine, I would think so. These things are a beast, but you just never know. 51,000 miles, and you can see the rear shot there again. The bumper ends, the bumperettes. Those are a part that could still be used, and I say that because oftentimes you see a car like this and you go, man, this thing is just totally thrashed, it's gone. But there's oftentimes meat on the bone in terms of parts that still could be used. So here, you could start to break down when it was built, the color code, the body 74A is a convertible, things like that. So, it gives you a little bit more information. But zooming back out, you can kind of see some of the information now. Anybody that has an iPhone or Android device, you can download the Haggerty app. Now, Haggerty isn't like a sponsor or anything. I personally have their insurance, which I just, I really, really like it. I can go into the Haggerty app. Again, anybody can do this. And I can select 1964 Lincoln Continental, and then it's going to give me some options. And I'm going to scroll until I see they got Lincoln Continental base. And you can kind of go in and select that. Now, it says the fair price of a Lincoln Continental. This looks like they don't always have it clearly marked as convertible, but it looks like 24,000. Excellent. Or so number 4 fair is 24,000. Number 3 good is 55.9K. So it's definitely went up in price, these cars. Excellent is 75, and then Concourse is 106,000, and that's according to the Haggerty app. And again, when you go in there, it'll let you pick, and you can kind of filter. So it does say, I apologize. So in bold, it'll say 1964 Lincoln Continental base, and I'm looking on my phone right now, so you can't see it on the screen. I think you can even go possibly to Haggerty.com and also look at this information. But that gives you an idea. So to me, the estimated retail value of $30,000. If this would have just been a nice driving car, it would have been, they kind of put it between 24 at fair and 55.9. So let's call that 56. So in my assessment, if it didn't, this car looked like a pretty nice car, it really probably was valued more than that. Current bid 600. So people that follow this kind of a lot, someone could easily come in and go, hey, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to restore it. I'm going to put it, I want to make a wall hanger out of one side of the car. I want to part it out and help other people that need parts for their cars. you name it. There's definitely some opportunity here. There's someone that could come along and say, hey, we're going to make this a concourse restoration and, sell it for 150, 200 grand. Now, I don't think that'll happen, but again, just giving some potential on what could happen. So definitely appreciate everyone coming here. And again, hopefully the dude is okay and he won't have any long-term injuries. It doesn't look like he will. Suicide Slabs Facebook group is where this was posted. So with that being said, stay on the rise. Check out Lincoln Addict Podcast wherever you find podcasts. You can just search Lincoln Addict through Google as an example, or you can go into Spotify, Pandora, Tuned In Radio, or download Podbean. That's the app that hosts, or the company that hosts the podcast. You can search Lincoln Addict, and you'll hit follow and or subscribe, and then boom, when I drop new episodes, you'll get a notification, and you can go back and listen to the first 23 or so episodes. I do have a new couple episodes in the works that I've been working on, so those will come out soon. Thank you, everyone. Stay on the rise. ODB, the Lincoln Addict. Take care.